Transbaikalia remains at the epicenter of the fight against forest fires in Russia. On the instructions of the head of the Ministry of Emergency Situations Alexander Kurenkov, additional forces from the Irkutsk region have been sent to the region, 50 firefighters and 10 units of equipment with drones and equipment for monitoring and extinguishing. The situation is difficult near the village of Atamanovka. The fire has engulfed 6.5 thousand hectares. More than 300 people and 40 units of equipment are involved in extinguishing the fire, including aviation, which dropped almost 400 tons of water in 24 hours. Firefighting includes the creation of mineralized strips, counterburning, water spillage and aerial work. The region is under a federal emergency regime, introduced back in April. In total, about 1,600 people and 200 units of equipment are involved in extinguishing the fire. The work is complicated by heat up to plus 35 degrees Celsius, dryness and gusty winds up to 20 meters per second. The fire is spreading rapidly, and the service has to respond around the clock, Avialesookhrana reports. More than 800 paratroopers of the Avialesookhrana and specialists from 11 constituent entities of the Russian Federation are providing assistance to the region. According to information, there are 115 forest fires in Russia in 8 regions covering an area of 282,260 hectares. The situation is most severe in the Zabaikalsky Krai, 27 outbreaks covering 234,662 hectares. Other affected regions include Buryatia, Tuva, Irkutsk Oblast, Krasnoyarsk Krai, Yakutia, Khabarovsk Krai and Amur Krai. Forest fires have reached specially protected natural areas, causing damage to unique natural complexes. 3 fires have been recorded in Krasnoyarsk Krai covering an area of 293 hectares. The fires have engulfed the territory of the Sayano-Shushensky State Nature Biosphere Reserve and the Krasnoyarsk Stolby National Park, some of the most important nature conservation sites in Siberia. In the Irkutsk region, the lands of the Federal State Budgetary Institution, Transbaikalia, are burning, where 3 fires have been registered on a total area of 99 hectares. This region is famous for its unique Baikal flora and fauna. In the Republic of Buryatia, the territory of the Tunkinsky National Park is engulfed in flames, where 2 areas are burning, 56 hectares of which have been engulfed by fire. The park is located near the border with Mongolia and is part of the Baikal Natural Complex. Video footage has been released, capturing Ukrainian attack on 2 Russian locomotives in Zaparajia region. The operation was carried out by Unmanned Systems Battalion 65th Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. The Russian train was hit in the Kutuzovka area, not far from Zaparajia's Tokmak city, which is held by Russian army. The train, comprising over 40 cars loaded with tanks, containers, and likely ammunition, was effectively split in 2 as a result of the Ukrainian strikes. Following this maneuver, Ukrainian units systematically targeted each train car. At the same time, 6 drones attacked a Russian locomotive at the Bolshoi Tokmak station. As a result of the strike, the high-voltage chamber of the locomotive caught fire, while the brake line was damaged. 1 employee of the Russian Emergencies Ministry was injured. Earlier, on Sunday, fire broke out in a railroad in Tokmak city, with 11 tanks catching fire in a suspected Ukrainian attack. A large movement of military equipment of the occupiers through Marupal was recorded. Military equipment was transferred along the Rostov-Novozovsk-Mariupol-Pologovsky line. Petr Andriashenko, ex-councillor of the mayor of Mariupol, shared this news on his social network page. In total, according to him, 7 platforms with armored vehicles were transferred, on which tanks were also spotted. He also counted about 40 trucks with enemy manpower and ammunition. Another column moved out from the Crimea along the Mariupol-Novozovsk-Taganrog/Rostov line. There were 20 trucks with manpower and about 5 tractors with armored vehicles of the BIP/BMD type. Andriashenko does not rule out that the enemy will attempt to carry out assault operations in the Orakovo and Guliapol area in the near future. And after recent drone attacks on enemy logistics, the occupiers have stepped up road checks. The most thorough inspection is in the Melitopol area at the fork in the direction of Crimea and in the Primorsk area in the direction of Berdyansk. At the same time, counterpartisan activities are being carried out throughout the Mariupol region. Earlier, media reported that the Kremlin is throwing a lot of infantry into battle in Donbass in order to break through the defense of the Ukrainian armed forces. According to the source, the picture around the settlements of Alexeivka and Bogodar is still unclear. At the same time, the enemy is pressing in the area of Komar, Zvezda, and on a large section of Shevchenko, Svobodno Pole, Novosayolka. Analysts complain that commanders on the ground are sending false reports to their superiors. They are reporting on holding positions that are already practically overrun by the enemy. Experts said the next map update on this section of the front would be disappointing. Moreover, the day before it was announced that the Ukrainian armed forces had stopped the advance of the enemy army in the Sumy region. Experts say that in the summer the enemy will pay special attention to Donbass in order to reach the borders of Luhansk and Donetsk regions. Ukrainian troops have shot down 2 Russian Su-34 jets and damaged 2 others in Marinovka airfield in Russia's Volgograd region. The operation was carried out jointly by Ukraine's security service, armed forces and special operations forces with the use of long-range drones. The Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces and the Security Service of Ukraine have carried out a joint special operation that resulted in the destruction of 2 Russian Su-34 fighter bombers and damage to 2 others at the Marinovka airfield, the SBU reported on Friday. The strike triggered fire in the airfield's technical maintenance area used by Russian Army to get aircraft ready for missions, perform routine maintenance, and carry out repairs. The General Staff of Ukrainian Armed Forces reported that Su-34s are actively used by Russian forces along the front line for bombing missions, including the deployment of guided aerial bombs. According to the General Staff statement, the fighter jets are classed as frontline fighter bombers in the Russian aerospace forces and are particularly used to drop guided aerial bombs, including some equipped with glide and correction modules.